Oh, pag-usapan natin itong live stream ni na Richard Aydarian at saka ni Chris Tan. Okay.
Sorry.
So nag-live stream sila nito sa Usapang Politika sa stream nilang dalawa. Parang nagsa-simulcast sila kay Richard Aydarian, kay Professor at saka kay Chris Tan. Both are political commentators here in the Philippines, and one of the things that they discussed is the US election noong kailan ba yun? Nung isang araw? Anyway, first of all, I respect their opinions, okay? And but let us wala kasing naging debate, walang naging pushback from each other because I think they both have the same stands on politics. And tingin ko hindi sila masyadong, I think at least itong si Chris Tan, sinabi niya na he's actually indifferent. Wala siyang pake doon sa election kung sino manalo o matalo. Although I think he's leaning more on Kamala Harris. Okay, so tuloy natin to. Let's just, ilang oras ba to? 1 hour and 30 minutes. Obviously hindi na natin papanoorin ng buo. So let's just skim on their conversation and see kung ano ang mga sinasabi nila. Okay? Tingnan natin.
Naghang yung audio ko.
Gahang.
Okay, this
Tingnan
There's a
natin.
lot of people controlling the behind the scenes with Kamala. I believe that. And it could be Biden, could be Obama, and could be a lot of other people versus Trump, who's pretty much the one in control. That's also
Yon.
not a good thing because with Trump,
Why?
sometimes he doesn't listen to the advisors,
Mm.
even if they give good advice. Although I do believe that Trump now is a little bit of a tamer Trump than he was back in 2016. Was it 2016?
why would how would
2020.
you say that? Because JD Vance is crazier than him.
No.
How is JD Vance crazier? Hindi, pero tuloy natin.
about JD
Because
Vance.
he's older and is a bit more tired. I mean, like, how would you say that?
Yeah. Actually, the age and when he realized he made some mistakes. If you listen to his interview with Joe Rogan, he actually admitted that I could have done something better. I should have listened with some of the things. I could have done this. So nakikita mo that he's a little bit more introspective in that sense. And the fact that he has an Elon Musk and other luminaries that are giving him information that are very hard-headed as well, that will give their opinion to Trump, and Trump will listen to them. So
Yeah, well, I agree to a lot of things that Chris said. Yes, Donald Trump is his own man. If there's anything you can say for sure, that for better or for worse, he will listen, he will consider your idea, he will ask around, but at the end of the day, he will make a decision and follow his own decision, whether yung decision na yon considers the advice of his advisors or not. But of course, kasama naman sa sa mga tao na pwedeng yung personal judgment mo kumbaga sumablay ka basically. Okay? Kahit kanino pwedeng mangyari yun. Pwede kang sumabit. But one thing is for sure, nobody is controlling Donald Trump unless you think that he's being controlled by Vladimir Putin, which is far, kumbaga parang, okay, you're allowed to believe that. You can believe that if you want, but I don't think you can never convince me that somebody as brash as Donald Trump can be controlled by Vladimir Putin. Napakayabang si Donald Trump, 'di ba? So imposible 'yon if you ask me. But if you want to believe that, then go ahead. But compared to Kamala Harris, Kamala is obviously, kumbaga, the way she talks, wag na si Kamala, si Joe Biden lang. What's happening right now? Joe Biden is a senile old man. Whether you like it or not, very apparent ang pagiging senile ni Joe Biden. Okay? And hindi nga siya one of the judges sa kinaso sa kanya ruled that he is not fit to face trial. 'Di ba? He's not fit to face trial, but he is fit to be president. 'Di ba? So how the hell is that possible? Hindi ka pwedeng kumbaga parang masyado ka ng ulyanin para humarap sa husgado, pero pwede ka pa ring maging presidente. How does that make sense? So sino ang nagpapatakbo sa gobyerno ng Amerika ngayon, 'di ba? Kasi I doubt that Joe Biden can do it as efficiently, if any at all, 'di ba? Na pwede mong i-consider as competent on his own. He can only hold the government or run the government with the help of people making the decisions for him. Uy, bakit nawala? Bakit nawala ang aking... Wait. Bakit nawala? Wait. Wala palang... Hindi nakikita ang kagwapuhan ni Richard A. Darian at ni Kristan. Yan. Sorry. Ito si Kristan tsaka si Richard A. Darian. Hopefully, I get to talk to them on the podcast. I want to talk with them about political ideology, politics, and basically how they see the country, society. I'm not gonna siguro konting mga DDS stuff and all and current events, pero I'd like to talk about culture and society with them one of these days. Okay. Tuloy natin.
In that sense, I think ko mas kumalma.
Hanap pa tayo ng ibang
But
punto.
I still think he's crazy. And I don't like the authoritarian tendencies that can affect the Philippines and the entire world. So
Authoritarian tendencies. I think Donald Trump is a strong-willed guy, but authoritarian. He's actually, I don't really think he is authoritarian. Authoritative maybe, but authoritarian, no. Kasi he's had a lot of opportunities to become really authoritarian in his presidency. Doon sa COVID pa lang 'di ba? The COVID yung sa pandemic. He could have easily gone Mao Zedong during that time, 'di ba? Or at least try, or at least give feels of true authoritarianism, but he didn't, 'di ba? And everything that they say about being authoritarian, or on Trump being authoritarian, na right now is very, tawag dito, hindi na siya speculative 'di ba? Kumbaga parang what's the right word? Kumbaga parang pino-project lang nila kung ano yung ini-imagine nila na ganito ang gagawin ni Trump. But the thing is, he was already president. He was already president and he did not do those things. 'Di ba? They're saying na parang kasi meron siyang mga nakuha na humadlang sa kanya. But then again, yung mga nakuha niya na yon also impeded the policies na gusto ng mga tao. Okay, lipat natin. Ano pang mga sinabi nila?
and then you see all these immigrants coming in, and they're
Ito,
not
illegal immigration.
A lot of people in the US who are Nick Haley, who are DeSantis, Georgia, South Carolina, but now wala na silang choice. So Trump na is the Republican candidate and they're not convinced by Kamala. So I'm not gonna demonize them. So I think we have to be very careful not to, paint a broad brushstrokes and demonize all of the people who vote for Trump. The same way I tell relatives and friends who are Republican, hey, like, don't judge everyone who's gonna vote Democrat as, like, pro everything that you find wrong in the Democratic Party, true or not. So this is the challenge the US is gonna have, this kind of a mutual demonization and further polarization, which is quite
Well, that is we see that. We see that too. Kasi um both like doon sa kaninang pinag-usapan ni Elon Musk, um a win on both sides have dire consequences for America. The Democrats are basically saying na itong si Donald Trump nga is so authoritarian. He's calling them Hitler, even way more than Hitler. And his supporters are Nazis, 'di ba? Ito si Counterpoint, sinasabi niya mga fascist, 'di ba? Yan ang mga tawag nyo na doon sa MAGA movement. Okay? And it's gonna be kumbaga ang term nila is existential threat si Donald Trump kasi magiging si Hitler siya pag napunta siya sa pwesto. Okay? And at the same time, the Republicans are saying na if Kamala Harris wins, then the policies na binanggit ko kanina about the illegal immigrants, basically, they are, it's not Kamala Harris herself. It's not Joe Biden or any specific personality in the Democrat side, but it's gonna be the Democrat Party itself. 'Di ba? Sila yung maghahari sa buong Amerika, sa United States. And that would include the Democrat establishment, which are consisted of unelected people who are very powerful, who can control different sectors of America and the world, 'di ba? So yung mga wars, kumbaga ito, status quo. Ganyan. Yung mga giyera, yung mga policies about environment, about yung borders, kasi gusto nilang makuha talaga yung power, 'di ba? And once they get the power, what are they gonna do? So the world liberal order. Tingnan natin kung it's gonna be a globalist vision. A globalist wet dream ang mangyayari. And Donald Trump is against that. He is a nationalist, 'di ba? Gusto niya America first. 'Yun ang kanyang policy America first. Ito mga Democrats, yung open borders pa lang 'di ba? Although now they're saying na hindi namin gusto 'yan, 'di ba? pero 'yun ang ginawa nila. Kaya lang nila inaayos ng konti dahil mag-e-election. And open borders are very unpopular. But then again, they already did a lot of damage because they have allowed tens of millions of illegal immigrants inside the United States. Tuloy natin to.
I agree with you on this, and I think a lot of people that are voting for Trump as well. There's one more issue that that is very close to Americans right now: the immigration issue. Yeah, and that's a big one. And honestly, ako mismo, I've seen the problem with a lot of the illegal immigrants going into different parts of the world. Europe has suffered a lot from a lot of the illegal immigration and the illegal immigrants taking advantage of the system for their own benefit without being productive members of society. So I get that.
Yun.
I get that if you're a hardworking American and then you see all these immigrants coming in and they're not working and they're siphoning money off the system that could go to you, you're not going to be happy about it. So that's why they support Trump in that sense. But having said that,
What?
there were also a couple of people that were talking about, syempre depends on what side you're on in the Ukraine-Russia war, right? And Some people think that if Trump wins, he's gonna stop World War III, and some people think that if Kamala
Oh,
wins,
teka, baka wala na yung kinalaman sa immigration yun na. But let's wait.
World War III is inevitable. Alam mo, people that think that, you're looking at what ifs. You're thinking of hypotheticals. Honestly, Putin will do what Putin will do, and the world is just reactionary to what he's doing. Yun lang yun. And neither presidential will really be able to stop Putin. And what they can only do is react to whatever Putin's next move is. If Putin escalates this, remember, it's Putin who escalated this, no one else.
Okay, let's respond to that. Yes, of course, everything in the future are what ifs. Okay, lahat naman ng nobody knows what will happen. Okay, but the difference between Kamala and Donald Trump is that Kamala's agenda is to support the fight against Putin. 'Di ba? Kumbaga to supply Ukraine with weapons, to supply Ukraine with soldiers, and eventually ngayon pumasok na yung Ukraine sa loob ng Russia, 'di ba? At the same time, they have helped funnel money to Iran, which funded the organizations that are attacking Israel right now. And ngayon, Israel, of course, is retaliating. And whatever side you are on that predicament, the thing is, people are dying. 'Di ba? Walang laban yung mga civilians, walang laban yung mga taga Gaza, walang laban yung mga taga Israel, yung mga Jews, walang laban yung mga Ukrainians na civilian, pati yung mga Russians. Hindi naman lahat ng Russians kaaway mo eh. 'Di ba? Some people have this notion na pag Russian ka, masama ka. No, it's just the government, 'di ba? Kaya nga may distinction yung Hamas at saka yung Palestinian eh. 'Di ba? Kasi magkaiba 'yon. Kumbaga sa atin yung Philippine government iba 'yon doon sa Filipinos. 'Di ba? You can hate your government but you can yun ang isang madalas sabihin, 'di ba? I hate the government but I love the Philippines. Kasi iba 'yun eh. Iba yung konsepto ng Pilipinas sa gobyerno ng Pilipinas. So ganun din ang Russia, ang Israel, at ang lahat ng mga bansa. Okay? Si Donald Trump, kumbaga si Kamala Harris, will support fighting whichever side is deemed as America's enemy. Sa kaya nga nahihirap sila dun sa sa Israel. Kasi America is supporting Israel. But then again, there are lots of tawag din supporters din ng mga Palestinians, even Hamas. 'Di ba? They're rallying, they're protesting for Hamas in the universities of the United States. 'Di ba? So ngayon mamimili ka. 'Yun ang diskarte ni Kamala Harris, to keep funding war, to keep fighting foreign wars, na while at home may mga homeless sila, yung inflation nila is rampant, 'di ba? And all of the problems that regular people are having in the United States, 'di ba? And then 'di ba nagkabagyo nga sa kanila eh. Tapos kumbaga hirap na hirap silang pondohan yung mga tao doon sa binagyo sa kanila. Tapos mababalitaan mo si Kamala Harris is donating hundreds of millions of dollars to Lebanon ata. 'Di ba? So yun yung predicament doon. While on the other hand, Trump, yes, sabihin na natin na hindi pakinggan ni Vladimir Putin. Kasi pwede naman kasing hindi niya pakinggan talaga eh. Pero at least Trump will try to broker peace between them. Whether he'd be successful or not, we are yet to see, 'di ba? Kung ano mangyayari doon. Pero at least there is an option for peace, not destruction. 'Di ba? Kasi itong si Kamala Harris, yun ang ano niya talking to Vladimir Putin is out of the table. Hindi yung kasali. 'Di ba? Kasi napaka-caricature ng tingin nila sa mga tao. 'Di ba? Donald Trump is different. He has a lot of tools in his disposal. First of all, he has the biggest stick in the world, which is the US military. 'Di ba? Kaya yung sinasabi nila na parang pinapalabas nila na takot si Donald Trump kay Putin. Why would he? It doesn't make sense to me kasi unang-una, sinabi ko kanina napakayabang ni Donald Trump. Pag ganun ka kayabang, hindi ka natakot kahit kanino. Lalo na kung mayaman ka, 'di ba? At lalong-lalo na kung meron kang military na kasing laki ng United States. Bakit matatakot si Trump kay ano? What does Vladimir Putin has on Trump? Maybe there's something, I don't know. Pero logically speaking, it doesn't make sense. Why? Why would Trump be afraid of Vladimir Putin? He's richer, he has the bigger stick. 'Di ba? And tingin ko if Trump handles it well enough, then pwedeng niyang merong posibilidad na baka mahilot niya pa. But ang problema kasi ngayon, the invasion already happened, 'di ba? So madami ng moving parts and it will never go back to the time na hindi nangyari yung giyera, 'di ba? Ang laging sinasabi ni Donald Trump is kung presidente siya, kung hindi siya natalo nung last election, Russia would not have moved into Ukraine. 'Di ba? Yun ang lagi niyang sinasabi eh. But then again, we'll never know. Kasi hindi naman natin kayang malaman kasi tapos na. 'Di ba? That's just the limitations of being a human. But all things considered, if you are presented with two options and one option doesn't have the option for peace, 'di ba? Then you would have to choose. One table has no option for peace at all, while the other table is presenting an option for peace, although it may or may not happen. But at least it's there. 'Di ba? Yun. Tingnan natin yung iba pang points dito.
Lang yun, pero so that's why it's
Ladder. Maraming kabataan at saka mga ordinaryong Amerikano ay nahihirapan talaga doon sa situation yan. So that's but just going back to the immigration, there was one, I don't know if you saw this, bro.
JM Cruz, what's up? Nandiyan ka pala.
There was a Turkish guy who crossed the border around Rio Grande. This was like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
kaya napapasayan, both agree to it. Although sometimes last minute may mga possible government shutdown, but they do agree to it. And so you can't blame it on one or the other particular president. Yun lang yun eh. So the US has a big time bomb ticking right now with that national debt. Even if Trump is in power, that's not gonna really change much.
Actually, it will make it worse if he gives tax breaks to the richest of rich
Oh,
Americans.
tax breaks.
Because the huge taxes will come from the super rich people. And one reason a lot of rich people are supporting Trump is because they want less tax on
Yun,
themselves.
right.
And let's be
Right.
brutally honest about it. A lot of very rich Americans, including Elon Musk and Thiel and all these people,
Okay, so this is what they repeat all the time, 'di ba? That the tax breaks were only for the billionaires, which is not true. Kasi yung mga tax breaks also include middle class people. 'Di ba? Pero of course, because kasama yung billionaires, yun lang ang sinasabi nila. 'Di ba? Pero sa totoo lang, those tax breaks also include middle class people and even the working class. And uh, aside from that, those tax breaks are still in place right now. 'Di ba? Joe Biden, pwede niyang tanggalin yun eh. Pero hindi natanggal. Ay, hindi pala. Meron yatang expiration. May expiration pala. I don't think kaya niyang tanggalin. Pero those tax breaks are one of the things that help Americans na maibsan yung inflation sa kanila kasi kumbaga tax break may mga hindi ko masyadong kabisado yung tax break actually, pero kaltas doon sa ibabawas mo sa tax yun. Kaya nga tax break eh. Hindi ko lang masyadong kabisado kung ano yung mga kinakaltasan ng tax. But one thing that I know for sure is that it is still in place and it still helps middle class American families. And walang balak kasi mag-expire na ata yun eh, based on what I heard, mag-expire na yung tax breaks. And hindi nila tatanggalin yun. Wala silang balak tanggalin yung mga tax breaks na yun. So, that means, I don't know about you, parang pinepeke lang nila na masama yung tax break. 'Di ba? Nasa question para sa mga millionaire, sa mga mayaman lang yan. 'Di ba? And also, ang diskarte kasi ni Trump sa economy, very what's the word? Very unorthodox. Hindi siya pangkaraniwan. Like the way he speaks about, he describes his plans about the tariffs, 'di ba? Ganito eh, hindi niya actually sinasabi na magta-tariff siya eh. He is threatening putting tariffs pa lang. Hindi pa niya nga gagawin eh. 'Di ba? Pero pag hindi ko nagustuhan yung gagawin nyo, ita-tariff ko kayo. Yun ang sinasabi niya doon sa iba't ibang bansa at saka sa iba't ibang kumpanya na gustong makipag-deal sa US government, whether local na kumpanya yan or foreign company or foreign country, 'di ba? So kung tingin niya malulugi, merong deal sila, let's say, kasi may mga anecdote si Trump diyan eh. Tungkol doon kay Macron, 'di ba? So nagpasa yung binanggit niya to doon sa Joe Rogan eh. Nagpasa ng batas sa France na magtatax sa mga imports ng US sa France. 'Di ba? So that would be a blow to US manufacturers, to the US economy. Kasi syempre tataas yung presyo ng mga produkto nila, pwedeng konti lang ang bumili nun. 'Di ba? So ang ginawa ni Trump, ganon. Ganon ang gagawin nyo sa amin. Samantalang yung mga produkto nyo, binebenta rin dito, hindi namin tinatax. Bakit kami itatax nyo? Basically. 'Di ba? So lugi, yun ang lugi ang Amerika dun sa deal. Kayo tinatax nyo yung namin, yung produkto namin para pagdating sa inyo, tapos kayo, yung produkto nyo hindi namin itatax. Di ba lugi ka dun? So, ang sinabi niya, ganun ba? O sige. Hindi na raw niya kasi mababago 'yon dahil sa tawag dito, pinasa na raw ng Kongreso nila. Teka. Okay, so pinasa na raw sa Kongreso nila. So ngayon tinawagan niya si Macron. Sabi niya, ganun ba? Kung ganun, kung hindi mo na pwedeng baguhin, itatax na lang namin kayo 100% dun sa niyo. Itatarif namin kayo. Gagawin namin yung ginagawa nyo. 'Di ba? And then right then and there, at least according to Trump's story, you can believe it or not, pero nagpanic si Macron. Sabi niya, "Oh no, you can't do that. You can't do that, Donald." Ganun pagka kwento ni ni Donald Trump eh. And then nung tinreaten niya, it's just a threaten. It's just a threat of tariff or tax. I don't know. I can't remember precisely kung ano. Pero just the mere threat, it was enough for Macron to discontinue whatever law that was. 'Di ba? So, And yung mga ganon, syempre hindi naman lalabas sa media. Kumbaga kinuwentong ang dating parang kwentong barbero nga lang eh, 'di ba? Pero I don't know, makikita mo naman may tax ba yung natuloy ba yung mga tax na yun, 'di ba? As of now, hindi pa dinidispute ni Macron yun, yung kwento na yun, 'di ba? So, yun yung unorthodox na diskarte ni Trump on the economy. Yung nga yung isa pang kwento, yung car manufacturers naman tatayo sila ng mga factory ng sasakyan sa Mexico, 'di ba? Sa Mexico na the biggest car factory in the world, they're gonna build on Mexico. And ang balak nila doon, ibebenta na yung mga gagawin doon, ibebenta sa United States. So, yung Mexico kumikita doon sa manufacturing ng sasakyan. Pag bumili sila, manggagaling sa yung Mexico ang kikita, 'di ba? Tapos ang bibili mga Amerikano. So, ang sabi niya, so lugi ang Amerika. 'Di ba? Lugi ang Amerika. Teka, kami ang bibili, bakit kami pa lang talking to the manufacturers, sa amin nyo pala balak ibenta yan eh. Ba't hindi kayo dito sa amin magtayo ng factory? 'Di ba? So, so para kay Trump, lugi siya doon. Lugi ang mga Amerikano doon. Kung sa amin mga ibebenta yan, di mo gawin. So, ayaw nilang gawin. Ang gagawin niya, itatarif niya ng matindi yung mga kotse na manggagaling dun sa factory na yon. Ngayon, nung nalaman nila yon, tinigil nila yung paggawa ng factory. So, ganun yung diskarte ni Trump. And you can agree or disagree with that, pero one thing that is for sure, that is pro-American. That is America first. 'Di ba? And if you are an American, mas gusto mo yon kasi kikita yung bansa nyo eh. 'Di ba? Ganun yun. Ewan ko kung Pilipino yon, gawin mo yon sa Pilipinas, 'di ba? Gawin mo sa kasi ako ang thought processing ko is like doon sa border. 'Di ba? Madaming mga opinions diyan eh. Isa lang ang ginagawa ko eh. Kung sa Pilipinas ba gagawin 'yon? Agree ba ako? 'Di ba? Agree ba ako na yung mga Chinese basta lang papasok dito ng walang papel, boboto sila ng walang ID? Agree ba ako doon na gawin dito sa Pilipinas? Ako hindi ako agree doon. So why would I agree to kung gagawin sa Amerika, 'di ba? So yun lang. Ano pa? Anyway, masyado na mahaba tong yung oras na tayo. More than 1 hour na tayo dito kay Trump. Tama na yan, tama na kayong dalawa. Kristan at pangalan ito, Richard Darian. May mga may mga pinag-usapan pa sila dito eh. Teka, maybe one last. Tingnan natin.
So, while it's true that economic growth in US is the best among major economies, advanced major economies, so not China or India, nevertheless, we have to look at the bottom of the socioeconomic ladder. Maraming
At the issues and where they stand, which brings us back to the original.
around February. So if you do your proper research, you'll understand where I'm coming from. I think economy is another big issue, bro. And I think the economy is a big issue in a
How is economy not a big issue?
sense that is relatable to us Filipinos. So, for instance, we see in the surveys, one constituency that Biden has been losing and now Kamala is the younger generation, because inflation has really hurt them a lot. Rent costs are extremely high.
Okay.
Interest rate went from around 2% to 6%. So buying
why
new
isn't
houses,
it
I have
an issue?
cousins, who said, sana bumili ako ng bahay ng 2019. Ngayon, yung $400,000, it will be $1 million if you put the interest and all of that. So I know a lot of people, relatives, friends in the US, young millennials or whatever, who are saying it's crazy. The real estate market is crazy. The rent situation is crazy, basic inflation is crazy, and the quality of employment is not there. So while it's true that economic growth in US is the best among major economies, advanced major economies, advanced may not, so not China or India, nevertheless, we have to look at the bottom of the socioeconomic ladder. Maraming kabataan at saka mga ordinaryong Amerikano ay nahihirapan talaga doon sa situation yan. So that's but just going back to the immigration, there was one, I don't know if you
So bakit hindi naging issue? Hindi mo na gulo nga Richard A. Darian eh. Sabi mo hindi issue tapos yung pagka-describe niya issue. Ang labo nitong si Richard oh.
saw this, bro. There was a Turkish guy who crossed the border around Rio Grande. This was like 6 months ago. So illegally, all right? But anyway, he's Turkish guy, nice guy.
Okay, hindi ko yata narinig to.
And then he crossed, and then there's like Fox News there. And as he crosses the river and comes over, tingin, he gets the interview, and it's out. And he said in Turkish accent, "You don't know the horrible people, crazy people out there. Who are you allowing to pass through here? You have to build the wall." So immediately sabi ng guy, Turkish guy, 5 seconds across the border, MAGA supporter, right? Like, so, actually, ang dami kong kilala ng mga Pinoy na gano'n. Uy, kami, legit kami pumasok, pinaghirapan namin. So, again, at the emotional level, I really understand why
Okay.
there's this anger at the Biden administration, etc. But don't forget, it was Trump who torpedoed that immigration bill. So, hopefully, whoever becomes the next
Oh
president,
shit. Okay. So, yun yung isa sa talking points ni Kamala. Siguro last na ano na natin to issue about this. Yun ang sinasabi kasi lagi ni Kamala paulit-ulit na nga eh, 'di ba? Yung when she gets asked about the border, bakit nagkandaleche-leche, bakit nakapasok yung mga illegal immigrants, ang lagi niyang palusot ay at the start, take note, start of her administration, of the Biden administration, tawag dito, nag-propose sila ng batas, okay, sa Congress para i-secure daw yung border. Okay? So, gumawa sila ng batas. And ang claim nila is Donald Trump narinig niya about this bill, and gusto niya long story short, tinorpedo niya daw, sabi ni Richard A. Darian. Kumbaga hinadlangan niya yung bill na yon para hindi maisabatas. Okay, so dahil doon naunsyame yung border bill nila at nagkandaleche-leche. Hindi nila napigilan yung pagpasok ng mga illegal immigrants dahil yung solution nila ay pinigilan ni Trump, 'di ba? Samantalang sila yung nasa administration. But what they're not saying is before that border bill was created, may mga executive orders na si Trump na nakalagay in place to secure the border. 'Di ba? So I think that's 90 plus executive order na effective kasi nung time ni Donald Trump, hindi mo kasi mapipigilan talaga, may mga illegal immigrants na makakatawid eh. Ang sabi is it was around 2 point something million, let's say 2.5 na lang, 2.5 million illegal immigrant crossings noong panahon ni Trump. And then it ballooned to 10 million plus unknown gotaways na hindi nila mabilang, kumbaga at least 10 million. So that's 300 times more, 300% more than Trump's record. So ngayon, effective kaya ganoon dahil meron siyang mga executive orders para mapigilan yung mga illegal immigrant crossing. Imagine nakalagay na yung mga executive orders na yun, 2.5 million pa rin ang nakalusot. So, lalo na kung tinanggal mo, 'di ba? It's like letting the floodgates open for illegal immigrants, and which So, nangyari nga talaga. 'Di ba? So, si Kamala Harris, tinanggal mo yung mga naka-in place na harang para sa mga illegal immigrants, tapos ipapalit mo sana siguro yung yung kanilang border bill, 'di ba? Pero even that, may mga lies pa rin siya na sinabi doon kasi hindi lang naman tungkol doon sa sa madaming mga questionable doon sa bill na yon na included. Hindi lang kasi, ang sinasabi kasi ni Kamala, it would have added 1,500 personnel doon sa border, 'di ba? So, that's just one thing about that bill. Pero may mga iba pang kasama dun sa bill na parang would allow other things na madami including some Democrats thought na hindi makakatulong para doon sa immigration crisis ng Amerika. Okay, so yun ang hindi sinabi nitong si Richard A. Darian at saka ni Kamala Harris. 'Di ba? And another point which was brought up by Anderson Cooper of all people sa CNN, 'di ba? Na tinanong siya, okay, so yung border bill na ginawa nyo na tinutulan ni Trump at naging successful siya, let's give them that, 'di ba? So that happened at the beginning of your administration. So it's been 4 years. So, after it failed, wala na kayong ibang ginawa. Basically, ganun na sinasabi ni Kamala Harris eh. So wala na. Ay, hindi umubra yung first attempt namin eh. 'Di ba? So, I suppose that's it. Wala. Open na lang yung border natin. Kasi si Trump. Pwede na natin sisihin si Trump eh. So, ganun ba yun? So, if you're gonna think about it, they should have tried more, 'di ba? Tried harder. Na kumbaga, they should have kept pushing for those kinds of effort para ma-mitigate yung border crisis. 'Di ba? So kung pag-iisipan mo, 'di ba, kung hindi mo kailangan i-challenge mo kasi, 'di ba? I-challenge mo rin si Trump. Challenge mo din si Kamala. Pero pag pinag-isipan mo, nung pinushback siya ni Anderson Cooper, hindi niya alam sasagot niya eh. 'Di ba? Nag-word salad na lang siya. Word salad city. Ang nangyayari. 'Di ba? Pwede naman kasi, hindi naman yun ang katapusan eh. 'Di ba? Parang wala, tihaya na lang. Pinigilan tayo ni Trump. 'Di ba? So, if you think there's somebody evil, then try harder. Hindi yung mag-give up ka. Anyway, so tapos na yan. Pero ito siguro last thoughts on US politics. Right now, I'm not confident in predicting who's gonna be the winner, kung sino magiging next president ng US. Obviously, I am leaning towards Trump kasi I think his policies just resonate more for sa values ko, which I think is the only metric kung pagbabasihan mo dapat sa pagboto mo. Kahit dito sa atin, 'di ba? I've always advocated for values-based elections. Like yung pinag-usapan natin last time, yung kay Nika Gadi, yung crayon box politics niya. Check it out. It's just a few videos dito sa sa library ko. And mas maganda yung nakabatay sa mga paniniwala mo at hindi kung sino lang ang tingin mo ay mabuti or even worse, hindi nakasalalay doon sa sinasabi lang ng mga tao na ito yung mabuti kaya ito yung boto mo. You should be able to discern kung alin ang mabuti para sa iyo. Kasi maaring mabuti 'yon para sa kanila kasi iba yung values nila sa iyo, 'di ba? So you need to find somebody na nag-a-agree kayo, 'di ba? If you are just gonna be parang tawag dito, susunod ka lang sa uso, susunod ka lang sa tingin mo ay kung kumbaga yung hindi uso, kung ano yung sinasabi ng pop culture, 'di ba? Hindi, ito dapat, hindi mali yan, masama yan, 'di ba? You can always consider these things na pag may nagsabing masama sa'yo, may nagsabi na masama ang isang bagay sa'yo, masama ba talaga, 'di ba? So, masama ba talaga itong taong 'to, 'di ba? O mabuti ba talaga siya, 'di ba? So, magkakaiba tayo ng basehan kung para husga ng isang tao. So, gamitin mo yung basehan mo at mag-aral ka para i i-enhance ang iyong mga sariling batayan, 'di ba? Gumamit ka ng The Comics Man method. 'Yun. Anyway, excited na ako tapusin natin 'yun. So, hopefully Trump wins, and hopefully if he wins, he doesn't let me down. Okay? But then again, I am not American. It would be up to them, and itong sana lang the elections would be fair. Yun lang ang hiling ko. Kasi if the world loses America, if the world loses the not just America, iba, mapapaano na naman tayo, mapapalitanya naman tayo ng mahaba dito. Basta yung values ng America, ng freedom, ng free market, ng pursuit of personal happiness, those are valuable things that had brought prosperous results to the entire world. Okay? And you may, of course, America is not perfect. No country is perfect. But kumbaga, even the values ng America, they cannot adhere to them all the time. But at least it's there. 'Di ba? Kumbaga, nandun yun. 'Di ba? Yung personal freedom, yung people ruling for the people, by the people, 'di ba? Yung walang hari, yung walang monarch, yung walang CCP type na organization that rules the country, 'di ba? That is actually a very radical concept, especially when it was first put forward by the American forefathers. And if the world loses that, I don't know. Merong papalit dyan for sure, and most likely you're not gonna like that. Okay. So, eto si Dada, wala pa rin yung red avalanche na sinasabi nila. We don't know. Kasi yung base sa mga polls, ang maglalaban parang battle of the sexes daw ito eh. Yung mga lalaki are leaning mostly for Trump, while yung mga babae are leaning mostly for Kamala Harris. So it's just a matter of which voter base will show up, 'di ba? And ang daming mga polls na lumalabas na contradicting And it's I don't know. Kasi kakampi talaga ng mga Democrats yung media eh. So it could be Cywar, it could be anything. It could be election interference. I just hope na maging maayos lang talaga. Kasi yung mga Democrats, they always accuse Donald Trump of not parang honoring the election results last time, which is kaya nga siya nagkakaso-kaso sa mga dahilan. That's one of the things that they tried to get him for. Pero sa totoo lang, the Democrats had always been like that as well. And with this so-called, what they call na tawag dito? Threat, existential threat na si Donald Trump. 'Di ba? Pag nanalo siya, syempre, sa akin lang I'm expecting that they're not gonna accept that too. 'Di ba? So, pwedeng magkagulo talaga sa kanila. And madaming mga pundits and even mainstream newspapers that are tawag dito, nagwa-warning about a potential civil war sa kanila. Civil war. Magigera. 'Di ba? I don't know. Hopefully, hindi naman umabot sa mga ganun. But let's hope for the best. Because a stable United States of America means a stable world. Whether we like it or not, it's not because I'm kissing the US's ass. Okay? Kumbaga ako, maka-Pilipinas ako, hindi ako ano dun, I just recognize the facts. Okay? And if the American values of freedom, yung American idea ng freedom, if that vanishes, I think it is gonna be a very bad thing for the world. Teka. Yun! Yun muna!